Hello everyone, we are back with KSP. Today we will actually attempt to get something to the moon. I do believe we have to make a vehicle, like, I cannot for the life of me remember. Oh, I believe what it wants is us to have join two vehicles in space. There is a cheesy way to do it, but before I do that, defined. Hmm. Is a thing. Okay. Oh, I do have the cache for a research node. Go in here. Let's determine one is probably for the best. I think it might be this only because it allows you to get to more mono propellant. Because while this will give me better aircraft or better planes, sorry. Ooh. Hold on. Now, if I'm not mistaken, my next thing I'll need is 90 for that. And then I will be able to do a orbital docking, or at least seize an orbital docking. We are going to attempt to put a probe in orbit of the moon. Just stay put, Nick. That's funny. Do I have, like, bits for... Okay, so that's one size too big. Okay, so I have to do this in a bit of a funny manner. And thankfully, both of those have fuel. So what I can do is toss that there, and now I have a nice little probe set up. We are going to I think we'll do this. Only because doing this in a specific way we ensure that there is multiple capable communication bits. We're also gonna do that. That should be... yeah, that should be it. That will be our primary unit. Oof, I apologize. We're gonna call this a comm set cluster. We're gonna call it a cluster because we're gonna put a bunch of smaller satellites on outside. Smaller satellites. Will it let me use programmatics? No. They have to be proper bodied satellite. Do that. Little programmatic on top. Watch my parts because doing this way can very easily blow up on me, so that's way too big. Oh, yeah. Okay. Since this is going over the moon, I don't need much else in the way of like utility controls. I don't need parachutes because these are not landing. They're going to get into orbit and then be synchronized. I don't think I need anything else with that. And yes, I do know it's not a perfect offset. I am actually fine with that. Okay, so we are gonna do a double step. The reason we're doing this in this pattern is we want to ensure that our engines are gonna burn for a good long while. Swivel. Okay. So that's definitely gonna burn for a bit. It's got 90 seconds of fuel, which is not a lot. Drop the thrust limit down to 10. Give us a little bit more vision. Do this. We want to do make this our new rocket. Let's tap it. Okay, let me I don't like that I don't have a good locking mechanism for this. That's just not stable. Since this is going to be that, we will do that. I think our biggest issue is I think I'm going to come up on the weight limit very quickly. Let's give it... Oh, we do not want them touching. That will do bad things. Hmm. go. That's going to be first, so we need to come here. We'll just hover over it, make sure. Boom. And then that one next. Boom. That one next. Boom. Then okay. Then that becomes our priority, is separating the big guy off. W the Mark 1, specifically because I'm almost positive you are going to explode. But if I can get you in orbit, I can put like small science satellites in orbit and things like that much easier. Put this back. Come down here. Take off a big tank. That back on. Save it. Can't wait until I have the limits removed. See how quickly this explodes, because I highly doubt it's getting to space. I think my main problem is doing 4 of these. I'm pretty sure as I go up, I'm going to lose a lot of thrust to weight ratios. And boom. Okay, we slow ourselves down. We want to be sticking about 150 while we're climbing up to our 10,000 foot mark. Not only does it help preserve fuel, but it reduces atmospheric drag. Hopefully those do not land on the actual center, but I will find out soon enough. Okay. Or, oh, Hopefully that didn't do any damage. We've reached 10,000. We can increase just that a little bit more. We're gonna bring her down just for now. Check our maneuver node. Boom. Next one out. Okay. We do need to increase our upward speed, only because right now I do not think we're gonna make it into space with the type of burn I'm doing. And I do worry that with only one of these tanks there, I'm going to run out of fuel quite fast. Three, two, one. Last stage. We are not losing speed that quickly, so that is helpful. We are still gaining altitude. I'll make sure that this keeps crawling up. We do want to start fixing our periaps quite quickly. We need to go up a little bit more. We're currently not pushing our apoaps up into space yet. We're actually barely keeping up. So while this will help with the periaps, what I need is for the apoaps to catch up. Means I do unfortunately need to continue burning up straight. Actually, we'll do it at 90. It's not perfect, but it should help with everything altogether. But I do believe I might have to revert simply by virtue of I poorly manned the unit. Like, at this point, yep, that's a problem. Okay, we are gonna revert. We're gonna revert to the assembly, actually. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take this. I actually don't mind if you are facing the wrong way, because I can control you later on. Because I have more of that. Oop. see, how can I save a little bit more? That's not going to do it. If I do that, that's not going to do it. Okay. We'll try this, but I feel like I might be... Actually, we will not try this, in fact. I'm gonna take... remove that. Remove that. Oof. Again, I apologize. I have been a bit under the weather as of late, and am trying to fight off whatever it is that seems to not like me, if that makes sense. Boom. Boom, boom. Good. Now, you come up here. Take this off. That, like that. And let's put this somewhere about there. Of course, it's not going to let me mess with that. Also limits how much of that I can do. So that will be first. All engines. You go first. Then you, then you. Boom. Then boom. Then boom. And now, in theory, as silly as it sounds, by reducing the tanks to slimmer tanks with slightly less fuel, I might be able to actually get more out of it. Because I'm putting more fuel in the secondary boosters, which will help us gain altitude. is a bit worrisome, as it looks like I will very quickly be losing control. Hopefully this does not damage the launch pad too severely. Wait for the little ones to pop off. Okay, those were probably the most dangerous ones, but my biggest problem is I don't have enough thrust. So I might be dropping this down to 2. Simply by virtue of the fact that I'm not generating enough thrust. I've climbed up enough that I can just let the rocket speed continue to soar, because I'm almost high enough up where the atmosphere is not going to pose too big of a threat, but I am low enough that this might damage that, and I might quite literally fall out of the sky by dropping the extra engines. I find it kind of funny that the other one technically did better simply by virtue of having the extra engines. Need to wait till the Apple app says I am in space before I start doing anything too crazy, because making my turn too early before denied us the victory we wanted. However, it's good to know that I'm climbing enough that the burn is lasting. Also doesn't help that I don't have anything to tie these engines down to get them to go, I'm not going to say faster, but better. Okay, so we have orbital capabilities. Start circularizing, because even if I'm not in orbit now, I will eventually get there. And now that I am in orbit, I don't really have to worry too much about stuff. I do want to make sure send these antennas. much as I am burning very aggressively, this is still not quite where I want to be. Because I was hoping to be ready to do the transfer with this stage. Okay, so now we're going to fall out, and that is not where we want. Hopefully, this will start climbing a lot faster because right now, it is not doing well. Thankfully, I believe I'm going to just barely pull it off, but the problem is this is going to be quite possibly the death of it. Okay, I have 20 seconds left, so... Okay. I have 14 seconds left in this stage itself. I come here, add a maneuver. I need to get burn time down to as little meters per second. Oh, cool. It lets me know. Okay. Gonna revert to the assembly. Let's see if we can this better. That'll burn for 51 seconds. Thrust weight of 1.19. Half. But it's almost 4 times the thrust. And then these guys. Heavy. So I think here is gonna be if I can build a full scale actually seems like let me think about it. What would be the best way about this? Because right now, what's happening has a no thrust to weight ratio associated with it. It does. Problem is that also wait, are those solid? Hey, no, that's fine. I have been being very foolish. I'm trying to take steps further than I should because I'm intentionally trying to put something in orbit of the moon that I definitely have not unlocked enough stuff to do it. But I'm seeing these are behaving like solid rocket motors, and I'm trying to figure out how that works. So right now, I'm gonna see what happens when I tell it to launch. It's absolutely not coming off the ground, but it's gonna be funny. That is hilarious. I did not know that was a thing. Oh, goody. I can actually kind of use that for something, which is weird. Because I was expecting that to just be really poorly designed. And, like, it's not perfect, but It's funny. Oh, you're too big. What are you looking for? Okay, so that is the width we want. Too big. Too big. Really wish I could just say, hey, I need parts that are this specific size. There we go. I think that's the biggest of that I have. Lost my most powerful engine on it because at this point it's a bit funny. How many of these can I add before the whole thing starts screaming? Not that many. So maybe one set less. I think there might be. So what I want to do, I'll show you in a second. Right now I'm just trying to figure out, like, what is the most efficient way to do the thing I'm trying to do. And it's mostly coming down to the fact that I had it right the first time, I just did it wrong. You know what? Let me load this. No, that's not the one I need. Open my sat dropper. Because this had all kinds of, we'll say issues. But it worked. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to custom build the asparagus staging on this. We're going to do it in the simpler manner. Is messing with these too much can cause some minor issues. Right? Remember, boys and girls, you don't get to space without your vegetables. And then we take a look at this, and if you see, it actually separates out our asparagus staging internally automatically. We want that variant. Because we're not really worried about the part limit. We're worried about the weight limit. I'm going to do this nice and carefully. Those don't have to be swivel because the central one has got a swivel. These are actually lighter and produce more thrust. So if I do this, take all the engines, bring them down here. We almost have a 2 thrust to weight ratio, and we haven't even added the rest of the engines. The main thing I want to make sure is I do it right, because if I mess this up, it's gonna go really wrong really quick. Yeah, that's all. Nice, a decent chunk. Intentionally turn you upside down. Go to this. We're gonna bring our weight down. And now I need to build out the asparagus. Going to get a little complicated in not a little time. That's the first one to drop off. We want to go boom to boom, boom to boom. Okay, next, good. Come up here, we separate these out. That to go next, and then that to go next. And then we take, go, boom, 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 and boom. Now, we are going to have to remove one of the asparagus staging. So, it's one of those things of like yes and no. Because if done right, you can actually just ignore aerodynamics to a degree because you're not moving fast enough until you're far enough out of the atmosphere. But I absolutely see the point you're making. Let me see if I can do this safely. Do a mass tolerance. Actually, so I don't lose the weight control. Robotic. That will allow us to control these. Come down here. Now, our main relay, we want to have 2. Well, actually, technically we want it to have more, but we're going to put 2 on there. 2 of these. Does not need all of this, but it does need that. Oh, I would, if I had fairings, I would be using them, but don't have them unlocked yet. The other thing it's going to need, and as you can see, I'm well over my weight limit, which would normally be a problem, but I intend to remedy that, sorry. by taking off the very last Various. And that's a bit of a little trick there. It does reduce how far this thing's gonna go, but I almost have 6K in delta V. It should just fly. Since I am sending you out over the moon, I'm going to intentionally add 2 small things so that I can do like research with this. These don't need a lot of power because if these things shut down, they're basically just bouncing satellites. Their main objective is going to be make sure things work. Just trying to make sure there's nothing else I'm forgetting that could be useful on a satellite. That's got power. Don't need heat shield for the moon. Don't need aerospace. I could have dropped stuff in payload, but that's just weight at that point, so. Okay, so we've come in underweight. Does mean I can maybe look at coming here, dropping that. Oh. Yeah, I came in underweight because I only had 1 of them. But now I have 2 of them, so. Here. Gonna take this. Go there. Take that off. Take that off. Have this little EDB stage that we're gonna dial back and forth until we have exactly what we need. Toss that in there. Check my new thrust to weight. Almost 2. That is great. And then make sure we doing these in the correct order because it will go crazy if not. Okay. Oh, trust me, the amount of times I've stared at this and went, oh, this is fine, and no, it is not. It is not even remotely fine. Like, I think, based off of the test run I showed you, that this is going to work fabulously for what I've got planned, because it's got more than enough delta V. However, as you can see, I also don't have the stuff to lock all the engines in. So they're gonna wiggle around, which means a less efficient burn. Also means this system doesn't even know how long the burn time is. Just wasted time with dead weight, because apparently it burned through its fuel instantly. Oh. And staging. If you jump the gun and you've got rocket motors, they will take off on you. Go. Wait for them to cut out and then kick them off. Hopefully that doesn't blow up my pad. I gotta wait for those to cut out. Well, that sounded painful. Wait for these to actually cut out before I kick them off. means we can actually dial back the thrust because we don't want to be going too fast. There we go. Gives us a little bit more time and lets us reach our orbital velocity nice and quickly. I'm definitely gonna have to look into modding. I was actually debating on doing that today and restarting the series with like ComSat and stuff like that. But I didn't want to start the series until I at least get something on the moon. And then, you know, I have to look up how to do it again because I haven't done mods in a very long time. And let's hard burn. At this point, we do want to slowly tilt. Not too far. But we do want to start getting a little better with our location. Thankfully, we're high enough up that the atmosphere is not going to be an issue. And that says we are now going to make it to space, which is great. I should enter space relatively soon and tick in space. Locked in. Extend the antennas to ensure that I have comm and control. Got quite a while. So I'm gonna slowly extend the secondary antennas. Gotta make sure I drop that into there so I know how much I actually have available as opposed to what I think I have available. And pop. Now, fortunately, can't keep limiting the thrust because I will not make it to space otherwise. No problem. Hopefully by the time you're back, I'll be around the moon. Now, our maneuver. Target. burn. Warp to it. No, no, I meant burn. It is a 10 seconds, so I have to wait until 35 seconds to split the burn to get the most efficient burn out of it. Wait. Maximum thrust. Keep burning, keep burning, keep burning. If I had a pilot, this would be a lot easier because I could just tell it to follow the maneuver node. Going, keep going, keep going. Here. We're going to do set this as the target. And focus real quick because if I'm not mistaken, I want to decouple that now. Even though I do have fuel left, I want that to skim the planet. Target. Hoover. Node. That. Do is we'll come here, add another maneuver node. Oop. So, doing that, should, in theory at least, Okay. Oh, that's why, because I'm technically warped. Here we go. I've got 1 minute to fix it. Yeah. Dang. And now that puts us in orbit. Actually, I need to do this a little bit more careful because I have to drop off the payload. In order to do that, I need to make sure. Yep, we got it. We're also dropping our debris straight into the moon. We are unfortunately wasting a lot of Delta V doing that, but well, it does keep us clean. And before anything else decides it wants to cause issues, I'm going to extend the rest of the antennas. Thank you. So I need to wait till about 14 seconds, T minus 14, before I do the control burn for it. So for this rocket, yeah, I didn't have to reset it just because it's a lot lighter and I wasn't trying to do anything fancy with it. Just doing some of my standard stuff. I'm actually intentionally having an off-centered apoapse just so that I can drop the satellites in a different orbital ring. Be a little bit more careful. Now, let me double check, make sure these are working well. It does appear that they are. kind of just comes with time. And now we have 3 satellites. Which may not seem important, but the real trick is they can communicate not just with each other, but when I come here, I can basically offset each individual one Vision node tinkering. Okay, not perfect. Remove it. I don't know if you even know about this menu. I recently found it. I haven't really used it in the past, but it makes life a little bit easier. Sure. Let me set you as a target. Sure. Just let me set Moon as target. No target. Okay. Well, if you don't want to play nice, what we're going to do is go here. 2-second burn, so we have plenty of fuel for it. And then we're going to do 1 pass by the Appalaps, which we will up to its full orbital height. Enough. And then zoom back in, grab the other probe body. So this one's got the higher one. We want to find. Oh, no. There we go. Now we come here to the second loop, them up to it. Since we're not doing interplanetary stuff, I will time warp it here instead of prepping my next launch cycle. Doing it this way. Very careful about it. I'm gonna have to go to the map view. On the planet. Well, since let's to the actual dropper itself. And we're going to tell you. Now, eventually they will, like, wobble out of their alignments. Comes with the territory. In space, an ant sneezing has a very big effect. So, careful and oh cool, this I forgot. I thought I added a SAS module to it, but I guess not. I guess it just wants to give me SAS. Here. Now, while it's not going to be a perfect triangle, should get us close. One, and boom. Burn. And now, theoretically, aside from the poles, which I could probably launch another one of these rockets and do if I wanted to explore the poles of the moon, but now, theoretically speaking, even on the dark side of the moon, I will always have connection to the Space Center. Plus, they all have enough fuel that if I need to knock them out of orbit or do anything like that, I can, without thinking twice. Actually, under the not thinking doctrine, I'm pretty sure I added to the dropper itself a small science kit. I don't think it's going to give me a lot of science because I don't know if the moon has a... Oh, it does. Cool. Log temperature. And it's not a lot, but it is. Log temperature. Okay, if I want the rest of that, I'm gonna have to send people up there, which is fine with me. Gotta go back to Space Center. So yeah, Maverick, the trick I did where I but I think you're supposed to do it at half height to full height or something like that. I don't remember. But the trick I did with putting the satellites in a off-centered orbit, or not an off-centered, but a not perfectly circular orbit. Hey, if I do this mission and put a satellite there, it will get knocked out by the moon. Like, because you can actually see that's closer to the moon's trajectory than my satellites orbiting the moon. That, no, let's not do it. That one. Advanced suction systems. I think I have a couple of the cheapo missions that I can do on the launch pad. Apparently someone got stuck in orbit. Apparently a lot of people got stuck in orbit. Yeah, I gotta do a joint coupler mission. How much is this actually gonna pay? Nothing. Like, right now, that satellite needs to stay where it's at. Sorry. That's the polar orbit one. That is not worth it. So that's cool. Here's the thing. Okay, so he's in low Kerbin orbit. Kerbal. Can you go find him? More than enough money. I'm not worrying about that mission right now. In fact, I do that. That might be a little too expensive to do that. Is needed. That's not really needed. Strategies are not needed. Extra contracts are not needed. Okay. Not perfect, but that does get us quite a bit further in our projections. Actually, I forgot to go to the science lab now that I've and the reason we're doing this is for this guy right here. Because in order to continue down some of my more advanced things, where is it? Like Explore Kerbin, 2 vehicles in orbit. Now there is a funny trick I can do with it. I'm gonna open this. It is. Did you know that there's a cheat code for it? Oh, and the best part, I'm now only limited by my parts. Which means if I really want to, and I kind of do, I can take... Oh, wrong button. I can take this, go there, get rid of that, and that. And now things kind of behave. So, the cheat code for this, and you're probably going to laugh when you see it, is they want me to get a item in orbit and then basically, you know, connect them, right? Well, there's this funny thing that they don't tell you, which is that they do not care if the ships went up at the same time. Now, whether this actually works or not, I am not entirely sure. But the easiest way to test it is to build right. So we know that's got to separate out. We'll pull it down because we want to have power. Don't need a lot of power, but we do need it to have power. Then need to come to fuel tanks. Grab mono propellant. We do want to make sure that we have the ability to communicate with the main hub. If we don't have that communication ability, it just kind of falls out of the sky. What was the other thing I need to put on it? Oh, right. Solar panel. And the funny thing is, this is going to be mission, or we'll just call it miss slash dead end. That way, I know I can save over this. I know, right? Like, if I had fairings, I could make this so much easier and so much cleaner. A second. Huh. Yeah. Let's do this the smart way. We're going to use the secondary battery as a guide. Yeah, I could do that. But here's the thing. If I do it this way, I don't even have to send a Kerbal up, so I don't even have to worry about the Kerbal not making it back. Okay, it's going to be finicky about it. There we go. Do that. Boom. Right? But no, the reason I'm not using a Kerbal is because I wholly intend to just drop this thing out of orbit and let it burn up. I'm gonna have to mess with that. But I think I gotta do it that way. Doesn't have to be perfect, realistically. This is mostly just go. I'm gonna go here, click on these, custom one, extend, and extend. Save our dead end and launch it. Yeah, I try to put documentation in the name of the craft if I'm doing something specific. So, miss slash dead end means that this craft is being used for a mission. It is dead end. It may be used again later, but it is not necessarily going to be used later. So the action group is here, because I'll just reset it. But with one button push, I can basically set all that out. It just makes life a lot easier, especially if you have something. Actually, just revert to launch. Especially if you have something that you might be doing multiple times or that you need done simultaneously. Oh yeah, that's way too much stank. Way too much stank. Really wish I had struts. Fortunately, it's one of those things of... Oh, yeah, that would... I wonder why it's not behaving, because I did not have it set to max. There we go. Unfortunately, I do not stream on the weekends at this current moment. I try to reserve my weekends for family time, and my boss also has decided that we are working on the weekend, because, yeah. Doesn't mean that there might not be a surprise stream tomorrow, but realistically speaking, I wouldn't count on it. It gets very difficult to maintain that. Like, it'd be a lot easier if I was, ooh. I wonder if a fairing would have helped. Let's revert to assembly. It'd be a lot easier if I had a lot more fan base, because then I would be able to make a little money off of it, and it makes it a lot easier to say, hey, this is a good idea. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that. I only have, what, 14 minutes till my timer expires. Let me see. Research and development. Okay, so 45 of that, and I get the struts I need. So let's see if I can go to the moon and make a lander to do boring science on the moon. Open. That drop. We are going to load that. Moon relay MK1. Get rid of the excess weight. Seeing as I had plenty of excess fuel last time, I'm going to actually save it and use it for a landing pod. There we go. Don't have a lot of science that we can put there, but we have a bit. Thank you, and I will see you later. I'm gonna see if I can do all this in 11 minutes, basically. Let's just do a toggle, just in case. Moon relay, save, launch. I realize the gear need to be retracted. I will. Yeah. I will see you next time. Hopefully I will get lucky and I will be one of the, oh, no SAS module. And I will end up with one of the people with actual people watching. So I'll be able to do this kind of thing for a living and, you know, not just play KSP, but any game. to pull it off. Save it, launch it. Got 10 minutes. 10 minutes and a lot of jank. Did they start extended? Or did I accidentally put them on stage? I accidentally put them on stage. Burning up my time. Come on. Actions. Custom 1. Toggle. Save. Go. Drop. Hopefully it doesn't do too much damage. Okay, I'll slow down. We are still technically in lower atmosphere, so it could be very bad if I keep pushing it. Four, 3, 2, 1. Oop. Well, they're not coming down in one piece, but it is what it is. I don't have the recovery mod on, so no, that is a mod that is at least a bit of a favorite of mine, because you get a little bit of stuff back from all the parts you're launching back towards Kerbin. Speed, so we can start staging and start hard burning. Okay. I'll go to 90. Mark it, set it, and forget it. And we are a little late on it, so let's push to the orbital already. Still have more than enough fuel to pull this off. Bump that up. While it does make these burn out faster, it will get me circularized a lot quicker. 18 seconds. As silly as it sounds, we want to make sure our power apps is on the planet before we do this switch. Or, yeah, because we want them to drop back into the atmosphere and clean themselves up. We have 4 minutes to get to the moon. Let's see if we can do it. Hypothetically, if I do this. Oh. Ton of. Burn it to earn it. Because we have plenty of fuel to do this. Okay, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Good. Add maneuver. Very light skimming maneuver. Oh, I'm going to be over time. That's upsetting, but can't do much about it without coming back here and not knowing what I'm doing. Warp to node. Okay. What? 12 seconds. Go. here. Add another maneuver. Orbital survey. Good. Go. Node. We'll see. We'll go back here and somehow still have a connection directly at Kerbin. Don't know how. Like, realistically, what it is, it's bouncing off of stuff, but I was positive I should not have a direct connection through the planet. Or, sorry, through the moon. Boom. What I want to do is I want to be on the bright side of the moon when I do this, because oh, that's funny. I'm currently in a time warp lock. Before I do anything crazy. Relay, sat dropper, we will switch to you for a second and see if it'll let me first. That second things first. Curb access. Cool. Don't know if this is very interesting. Yes, Owl Girl, I do see the time. Give me one moment. I will get off in just a second. Trying to on the moon, and that is unfortunately being a bit difficult right now. But I should be able to do it relatively quickly. Rust, we will eliminate you to 5. Serve the goo. Radio back. And quit. Nice and careful. We want to go nice and slow with this landing. Otherwise, we are in for a very rough time. Ooh. We have touchdown. We officially have touchdown on the moon. Let us send back our science. Okay, let's go back to Space Center for just a second before we get off, and I will pick my upgrades, and then we will call it a night. I know I am a few minutes over time, so we are going to try to make this quick. Our world first achievements. Struts, because we need them. Advanced coupling, because we need that. This, because we want that. And then heavy rockets, because let's get going. That is our upgrades for now. We will look at some crazier stuff later. Thank you all for watching. Take it easy.